close photo of this and leave. And is this done? This is done. Close that. Check something, Control Alt Delete, Task Manager. Wacom, let's close this, let's end that task.
Yeah, my Wacom decided to restart my computer. So.
Yeah. Alright, I've got a little better performance now. Okay, so let's go ahead and object mode, Control D, E, J, and that's what we've been doing. Delete. Let's go ahead and cylinder, polycylinder. I'll leave it, I'll go back to 4, 8, 1, 0. That's different. E, J, J. There we go. Shading, wire unshaded. Q. Face. Yes. Oh yeah, absolutely, not a problem. Lambert. Color did we use the other day? That actually kind of worked. Purplish. And did that actually apply this time? Good. Okay. Can you see? Okay, so there we go. So face, and then let's go ahead and grab all these, and then delete, and then object, and then let's come over to this view, shading, wire unshaded, R, bada boom, or bada boom. Go into this one. Okay. And Boolean and union. There we go. And vertex and merge vertices. And actually, I'm going to go up to 0.1 and 56. Okay, and that should do it. And then object mode and 3. And you can see that worked great. 1. Now let's do another cube, or excuse me, another cylinder. Cylinder. Oh, goodness. We could try a 12. We could try an 8. We could try a 6. Somebody tell me a number that you think is going to work. Why are you saying 12?
Because it will match up with those.
It'll match up with the big one.
Yeah.
You guys understand what I've just done? I know that this one is slightly smaller, so by going to 8, I have less points that I have to line up. I know that this one is going to go all the way around, so I should be able to line up all 12. Math can be your friend. In this case.
Are we just assuming that the fire hydrant's base and the bigger nozzle?
No, you can measure it. Go measure it. They're about the same size, actually. And look at that. Is that not amazing? It's almost like somebody mathematically figured this out. Oops, wrong button. Object. Oh my God, this project just got so much easier. Oh, kinda. Let's go ahead. So what did I do to clear that problem up last time? Gonna do the same thing. I need to go back over to my vertex. Merge vertices, merge vertices. I'm going to go to point 1 again. And then object, and then 3. Wow, it's almost like I've done this project before. Almost. Okay, so we're feeling good about a lot of this. So the one quick thing I've got to do to clean this thing up is multicut 1, 2, enter. Let's check that in my other view. And it didn't go right. So Q, vertex, I'm going to grab all of these vertex and R for scale, and then W, and then V for snap to vertex. And then when I come around to the back, boom, perfect. I have one 5-sided polygon, which you can all see, right? Object, multicut, 1, 2, G, G, 1, 2, G, Q. For right this second, I'm just going to leave that alone. Q, object mode 3. Almost done. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, R. I can put this in any way I want, whatever I want to do with this. Vertex, R. R is scale, but when you pull scale down onto itself like that, what you're really doing is straightening. I now have incredibly clean, easy to use geometry. Is this 75% of that? Nope. Is it close? Meh, not bad. Is it efficient? Is it good? Yeah, actually we're looking pretty good. So, object mode, insert edge loop, 1, 2, 3, 4, Q, object 3, shading. Clean, efficient, and it looks remarkably like some of the other ones up on ArtStation. Clean, efficient, easy, good stuff. I'm going to insert one more edge loop. Object, insert edge loop. Q, object, 3. There we go. Even better. Math. Think about it before you do stuff. Use common sense. It'll go a long way. All right. Well, that was different. Questions?
So, I'm guessing you'd rather have the small 5 75% versus easy geometry?
No, actually, I said the good geometry is going to be, good geometry is going to lead to a discrepancy in the scale. Scaled correctly geometry is going to lead to a little bit of spider webbing in the geometry. You have to decide where you think you can maximize your effect. It's just a decision. It's an artistic choice at this point. Okay. Let's go ahead and make my end cap again. I'm just going to make a random one. Does anybody want to watch me remodel that whole 16 thing again? Everybody understands how to make the edge loops in the fencing? No questions about that? So if I see it wrong this week, I can be like, you instantly fail? Yes? No questions on fencing?
No, I mean, okay. I feel pretty confident, but I wouldn't mind having it recorded so I could go back and reference it if I needed to.
Okay, so loose fencing is going to be just slightly bigger edge loops. So this is going to create a light bend on that. So if I look at this now, see how that gives me that soft edge? Now, when I go to a harder edge, say I wanted this to look mechanical coming out of here, I could come through and do it several different ways. I can grab this edge. Last time I just extruded out to add it. This time I'm going to shift and extrude bevel. And I can use the bevel command. Now the tighter this bevel, the tighter that edge is going to be. I have 2 segments at 0.05, which is going to give me razor sharp. Razor sharp. So when you're trying to look at the fire hydrant, you guys can't see that picture, can you? And we look at this edge versus this edge. Can you see how this edge is rounded and this edge is machine sharp? Machine sharp, round, 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 machine sharp, round, 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 kind of machine sharp, so on and so forth, yes? So, as I continue this, this is going to be super soft now. That's super soft. There's only one fence piece there. Now if I add more fencing, say to here and to here, it'll be almost as soft. But you can see there's just a little bit more. So where you put that fencing is going to have a great deal of what your edge loops look like. I can have one side tight and one side loose. I can have both sides loose. I can have an edge where it kind of bevels out a little. I can do a lot of different things to create a lot of different effects. Now, the next thing that we do is we're going to go down to that 5-sider, right? And this always leads to problems for students because they want to take a lot of shortcuts when they do this. And this is a technique that we're going to use in a lot of different places. So it's better to get it this time and just deal with it. So I've got this now. I'm going to go ahead and create my cylinder, my poly cylinder. I'm going to have 5 sides on it. Okay, I'm going to delete my end caps just because they're easier to work with without the end caps. Okay. And on thing, the flat side is in a particular direction, I believe. Flat goes up. This one not so much, so it doesn't really matter. But I do want to make it as easy as possible for myself. So I'm going to look at this for just a second. Yeah, something like that. So I know I have 8 sides, which is much different than the 12 sides that we've been working with. So 5 goes into 8, not as well as 5 goes into 12. Does that make sense? It's going to have bigger chunks, but that's okay. But before I can do the append poly, I need to make both of these the same object. So I'm going to grab both, and I am going to combine. Now I'm going to grab this edge, and append poly. What am I looking for? I've got the wrong one. Append poly. What?
Does you need to bevel it first? So it's keep it.
That would definitely help. So did you understand what she just said? I gotta bevel these sides so that when I go back through, I don't have that bevel connecting over to here. She's 100% correct. Easiest way to do that is to grab all of these like so, and then bevel edge, and I'm going to go to 0.05 and 2. And that's going to give me that. Now I have 15 going into 8. Oof. So what I like to do is append poly. I just like to grab my big ones first. But look at how bad that is right there. Can you see that and why I'm calling it bad? Because my sides aren't lining up as nicely, I'm going to have huge problems. And what I like to do for something like this when I'm doing it is I'll pull this out just a little bit. I like to pull this out. Where the hell? Out so I can see what I'm doing quite a bit. And I just want to make sure I've got that lined up as well as I possibly can, and I don't. I don't know. I don't really see a good way to put this in. There's just not enough sides to get what I want to do.
But isn't the flat side supposed to be the top?
There's one or two. They're different. The front one is definitely supposed to be the flat, is at the top. All right, so let's come back through, and I'm just going to do the 5 big ones first. Append poly, but I can't because I've not got my tool separated. Object. Combine. Append 1. I'm going to say this one's going to go to here. G. 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 J, Q. All right, so that is pretty horrible, but that's about as good as we're going to get for this. G. So camera angle, again, this is a camera-based tool. It's incredibly painful to work with at times. All right, so that gives me that, which is actually, believe it or not, correct. Q. So now what I can do is just grab all these vertex right here, W and V, and snap to vertex, and now they're exactly flush. Now this is not going to model well. Actually, they're not exactly flush. What a pain in the butt. V. Why are they not going flush? What is this doing to me? I don't know. It looks like I've got something wrong over here. I can see it. I'm just going to do this. W, V. There. That should do it. Now they're flush. But I don't really want them to be flush because it's just going to give me problems. Let's go ahead and do that. Just a smidgen up off flush. And then object mode and insert edge loop. 1. Now I showed you that I can actually just go ahead and put them on top like so. An object and 3. And it still gives me a fairly tight mechanical looking edge. I've got some pinching going on right now. So I'd like to figure out what's going on with that. It's this thing right here. So I'm going to go ahead and change this. I'm going to object, insert an edge loop, and I'm going to put one right here also. I suppose I could even put one, I can't put one right there. Q, object, 3. Woohoo, look at that. That's some control issues right there. Oh my goodness. It's this one right here. Goodness gracious. Q, face. Remember what I said about it being a pain in the butt to work with this stupid tool? It's still a pain in the butt to work with this stupid tool. I've got one that went haywire. That one might be haywire. Let's try this one again. No! Oh my goodness. Where'd it go? Where'd it go? There it is. I don't know if that's going to work, actually. I guess it does. I think that pinches right there. Is that the one that I just fixed? No, that's a different one. Something went crazy. And I'm going to have to go with this is going to be better to redo this. Something went wacky. I don't know what, but something did. Okay, let's try this again. So come through, Let's grab a cylinder. Oh, goodness. W. Let's put on 5 sides. Let's delete the faces. Let's rotate it. Let's check my shape. Scale it in a bunch. I'm going to work on a bigger piece this time. There we go. Okay. All right, grab both objects, combine. Oh no, not yet. Edge, grab all these edges, extrude edge, bevel edge. Let's do 0.25 and 2, just so I can see them a little bit easier. It's not going to be as tight, but I just want to be able to see a little bit easier this time. Edge, because these glasses suck. Combine, object, object, pen poly, 1, G, two, G, three, I don't like that one. Trying to get it to stretch the least possible. I don't know if I have or I haven't, but at least I've got things that look a little easier to work with to me. Okay, Q, object 3. Doesn't look horrible. Edge. R. Object, insert edge loop, Q, object 3. Got a little pulling going on from right to left. So there's something I can do that I really don't want to do, especially since I didn't do this right. About as close as I can get that. Ugh. 5 does not go into 8, or 5 does not go into this one nicely. It is just not. Remember what I said about pulls On curves, you're looking at that. So,
I don't know if it can make a difference when, because that's how I did mine. I didn't get that whole, I don't know if it's.
oh, I mean, I can fix it by doing this. Object mode, multi-cut, 1, 2, 3. G.
What, I don't know if it would like make a difference, like, for the smaller triangles, I just, instead of like.
Yeah, you combine them at the bottom right there.
Yeah, I didn't connect it with the bottom. I don't know.
Q, I moved my pole off the edge. It should work. Q, or I move one of them. Object 3. Yeah. See how it's not doing that anymore? This one, edge, flip, spin, spin forward. There. Ah, my fingers. Oh, it's a little better. Let's see what this one looks like. Meh. Boy, I really don't like that. There we go. Flip spin is your friend for this kind of stuff. I don't know. Anyway, that is what it's going to look like. You're just trying to push those things so that there's not huge stretching. You can see when you get huge stretching, it's going to pucker. Does that make sense to you all? Oh, yes. Sir.
Like on that vertex there, the vertex seems like it's missing an edge that connects out of it. Is that
Which one? Where?
the one that you have selected? Like
No, there's 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. But so I'm just going to control delete that for just a second.
Like that vertex that's kind of
Which vertex? Vertex.
The one next up.
This one? This one. This one. No, there's just one. Well, now let's just, I don't know. Let's try to object multi-cut 1, 2, 3. No, it's just bad geometry. See how as I go through and add some more in there to curtail the heavy deforming. Because this is a flat section right here, it doesn't really matter too much. I can do whatever I want with it. That will slowly just go away. So like, see, this one's got a bad pucker, like right there. So if instead of doing that, I do pucker is gone. It's because I've got a combination of heavily stretched lines and I have pulls on curves, which is exactly the two things I've told you not to do previously, right? So if you look at this right here, I have this heavily stretched thing, and I have this pull right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back through, I'm going to grab this edge right here, Control Delete. Control Delete is different than delete. Control Delete deletes the vertex also. So I'm going to come through right here, Object Mode, Multi-Cut, 1, 2, 3, 4. My pole is no longer on a curve. It's way out in outer space. 3. And now my pinch is mostly gone. So see this pinch right here? Can you guys see that? So 1. See where it is. So the pinch is kind of because of this thing ending on this curve. So Object, Multi-Cut. Pinch is gone. It's just a matter of making sure that when you go to the 3 mode, when you deform it, you want it to deform smoothly. You don't want those crazy things like that happening because that gives you pinches. And that's what we're trying to avoid. And that's why we don't put poles on edges and why we make sure that we have enough geometry that it flows and this and that. And I mean, it just took a couple of seconds for me to do it. It's not a big deal, but it does make a big difference when you get into high quality stuff. So now I've got everything kind of flushed down. And you can see I've got pretty decent little edges there. Yes? Yes? No? Maybe? What do you guys think? Feels about right. I mean, I can tinker with it more, but I've got a little something right there, but that doesn't bother me too much. I could definitely control that a little bit better. All right, so there is that, and there's that. So I'm going to cheat when I connect this edge, extrude edge. And there we go. We've got a nice separation between those two. All right, so now we've got this piece right here, and we need to do that figure 8. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
So what I'm going to do is, for just a second, is Object, Object, Combine, Control H to hide, bring back up this. I'm going to do a torus. And polytorus, and axis is say 8, and subdivision say 8. And let's go ahead and face, delete, object, Control D, and go. And I'm going to go ahead and object mode. I'm just going to take this out to about right here. All right, so I can see what I want to do. Yes? Can you all see it? So I just got to delete a bunch of stuff, and then, so I'm going to grab faces, delete, face, face, delete, face, face, delete, object, vertex, R to scale, R to scale, object, object, combine, vertex 2, merge vertices to center, G, 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 object, append poly, 1, 2, G, 1, 2, G. Beautiful. Questions? I made that look really, 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 really easy, and it's only because I've done this project really, 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 really a lot of times. So, there are many other ways to do that. I recommend none of them. Control-Shift-H to unhide. Control-D. Control-H to hide that guy. EJ. 90. R for scale. W. F to zoom in. Get this guy lined up with that little pivot point thing right there. X to snap to grid. Okay. R to scale. W. Remember when I said it's better to learn how to do it right because you're going to have to do it a bunch of times? Guess what? You got to do it a bunch of times. Edge. Extrude edge. And there we go. We're going to connect this to that. Q. Object mode. Combine. Edge. Oh, object mode, excuse me. Object mode. Append poly. 1, 2, G. Whoa, something happened there I didn't like. Yeah, looks okay. G. 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 edge, extrude edge, scale it, control right click two vertices, merge vertices to center, edge, double click to select the whole edge, shift right click extrude edge, control right click two vertices, two verts, shift right click, merge vertices, merge to center, edge, bevel edge, 0.05, edge, G, 0.05, edge, bevel edge, 0.05. Huh? I don't have everything. You're right. Bevel edge, 0.05. Vertex, W, Q, object, edge, bevel edge, 0.05, 2, let's do 0.25 on that actually, 0.25, there we go, object, 3, and it almost looks like I'm competent. Got a little pinch in there, let's figure where that is. All right, can you see the pinch right there? So 1, object, multi-cut, 1, 2, G, 1, 2, G, Q, object, 3. Smooth as bacon. Like I said, this technique, once you get the idea of the merging the vertices, the cutting, the getting the shapes together, the not bending and deforming the wires, the appends, you can really just whip through and create a bunch of unique shapes that are really, really hard to create any other way. With clean geometry that's easy to control. So, really that takes us through the main body parts of the fire hydrant. We're going to look at this next, but I don't want to get into that today. We're going to look at this, and that's hard. This is difficult, but we've got this, everything in here except for this, pretty much down now, right? So if by Friday you have a good centerpiece minus this, that would be fantastic. But I do mean good. Anybody know anybody in Sarit's class? I'm asking. I mean, does anybody know where are they? I've lost track of where they are.
We're like walking out. Well, which Sarit's class?
The modeling of the same one. This version of that. This version of this class. His version. I think we're behind them a little bit right now.
When I talked to someone last Friday, I think they were almost done.
Yeah, but I'm gonna be willing to bet that our quality is gonna be higher, and our redos are gonna be less. I'd be willing to bet, but I'm not 100% sure. I'm kind of curious because he's doing it differently than I am. We talked about that. So let's make sure that we get this up by Friday because I want to make sure that we are really nailing this down. Does that make sense to everybody? So I expect you to respond to at least 5 other people, and then I will take a look at everything when we get back to class, and we'll take a look and see what everybody else said about your work. Are your brains full? Are you bored? Am I going slow? Am I going fast? What's going on with you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Your brains are full, you're bored, and the speed is too fast or too slow.
Yes.
But I've been on the fast side.
It's a bit on the fast side. Okay. So let me take a look at one thing real quick. So by next week, start recording, and yeah, next week, if we do this right, we're going to be blocking out the rest of these parts, making sure our scale looks good, looking at the bolts. This thing. Okay, I want to talk a little bit about this bottom piece. This piece. Let's do one. Separate. Edit. Delete all by type history. Okay, so this bottom piece turns to spider web really, really quick. When we look at the shape over here, we can see that it's thicker, it comes off the bottom, comes down, and blends in. What do we know if we cut into here is going to happen? It's going to ruin our circle, right? So we obviously know we can't do that. So what I'm going to start with is something a little different this semester. I'm going to start here. You understand why I just put that there? Because I can have a pole that comes off of there because I'm on a flat, and I've just put a piece of fence in that doesn't do anything. All I wanted to do with this particular piece of fence is I'm going to control some of this right here. So multi-cut. 1, 2, 3. And I don't want to come down to here like that. So I'm going to leave that alone for a second. Q, object mode. Insert another edge loop down here. Oh, that was different. Okay. And Q, object mode, multi-cut. Q, object, insert an edge loop. Oh my goodness, my finger. Oh, I can't because I have two things. Okay. So for right this second, I'm just going to grab this vertex. Actually, I'm going to grab this edge. Edge, Control Delete, vertex. Let's just drag this along. Object, multi-cut. Got a big old 5-sider right here. So that shape is wrong, right? You all can see that plainly. this is where things get confusing. Okay, so I really would just want to extrude out, but see this piece up here, I can't extrude straight up and make this work. So I'm going to grab this edge, and this edge. I suppose I could grab the whole thing. Let's grab the whole thing and try that. Now I'm going to extrude. I'm going to extrude up to here. This is one of those times where I probably should have done this a little different, but that's fine. Okay, and then vertex, merge vertices, target weld. This is really sloppy, I'm just sketching, okay? And object, Q, object, append poly, okay. I don't have any poles on curves. I did a lot of stuff, and I don't have a lot of control over what's about to happen, so we're gonna have to add some fencing. I got some puckering going on. I've got, you can see, oh, I got a 5-sider. No, it's 4, it's just really not behaving very nicely. So I can't just grab this. I don't have any edge flow on any of this, and that's what's going to start to make my life miserable. Do you understand that? And I don't have a way to cut out that hole right here currently. So there, now I can cut out a hole right there. Does that make sense to you all? Because if we look back over at our image, it's got a hole in it. We're going to need that hole. Okay, so before I do that, we need to get the rest of this shape. You can see it doesn't go all soft and gooey, right? Well, all right, so object mode 3, looking better already. We know how to control pinching like this stuff. Right now I'm just roughing in this shape, trying to figure out the math and figure out what I need to do, right? So this is all starting to look pretty good. We can clearly see this is creating a giant pinch right there. So if I really wanted to control this pinch a little bit, this right here might get pulled out to out there to do some stuff. Let me see what happens. Edge, flip, spin forward. I would add in another triangle, but I'm not worried about that right now. Now what I want to do is grab this and look at what I'm going to do to get that to work with me. I think I'm going to be sneaky. Can you guys understand why I put that edge loop in there? What has 6 sides? A circle. Yep, 6 side circles. Well, this is going to be a bear. Oh, let's try something. Here's a fun tool. I have this edge, I have this edge, object, bridge. Ooh, it worked. I'm amazed. I have 0 tapers, 1 division. That's fantastic. I can see a couple of little problems, but for the most part, we're getting pretty close pretty easily. Couple of little problems, but nothing too big. That's going to need some cleanup. That's going to need some cleanup. Not the worst, not the best, but that's kind of the thinking behind that shape. Yeah, but you can see I did something here I don't like, so I'll have to worry about that in a second. Yeah, it's this. Anyway, so that's as far as we've made it so far. And you're all not paying attention. I've got a lot of closed eyes looking at me. Okay. You're done, you're free. You got a half an hour work time. You got Friday to work all day. 5 o'clock on Friday, I would like to see some posts up. If I don't see any posts up, I'm going to make it like mandatory the next time I do this that people have to be in by 5 o'clock. I don't know your exact schedules, and I assume that people have things in their life older than me. So, yes. Majority of you should have something up by Friday at 5, especially since Friday's a lab day from 12 to 2. Yes? Questions? Yes?
Where is the reference picture for the hydrant? Where is that located?
The reference pictures for the hydrant are located over on ETSU E3, DIGM classes, Emma, Fall 19 Modeling for Entertainment. Oh no, it's not there. Where'd they go? Dropbox, fall 19, modeling for entertainment, source images. Okay, here we go. They're inside the Dropbox folder.
Will you?
Yes, sir. Did I hear another question?
Will you be here on Friday?
No. Not unless you have a need for me in some way, shape, or form. But me hanging out and staring at you working is not really good for anybody.
Will you be fairly readily available during that time?
If you ask me to be, I will. If not, no.
I just mean email wise.
Maybe it depends on where I am in the country.
Okay.
And it depends on what
Just
I'm
run
doing.
away from the weekends.
I do
I absolutely flee.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so number of stuff in the deployment, so yeah, let's just do another deployment. You've got, see how old this corner is right there? Try to pull another one. Let's see if we can control it. But only making a multi-cut from here to here and see what that does. Make a multi-cut from here up to there and see what that does. I'm not being weird about clocks. I'm sucking today. Alright, do the same thing on the other side. Alright, let's see what that does. That accentuates it more. Alright, so let's go back through and what we've got. Let's look at deleting this one and that edge. So go back to one view. And let's delete this edge and this edge. Okay, just this is done. Oh, okay, I got it. Yeah. There you go. Let's see what that is. So we're kind of doing a PCL work, like tinkering with. Yeah. It's hard. You gotta compromise all of those, trying to figure out which one you want to look funky. Because you did 75 and you got a 12 and 12, right? You were aiming for 75%. You've done a 12 cylinder, all three of your cylinders, which is 12 cylinder,
Yeah.
12 sided.
Yeah.
That's going to be a challenge. So, yes, you have to move stuff around.
People floating.
Ah, cool.
It's trying to make a little mini game out of it. But it's definitely
Most of it actually really busy, but not bad. I can see what you're doing. I'm talking all over here. I don't hear much out of YouTube. What's going on with that? I can't see. Is it working or not? No. Yeah. I don't know. I can't see. No, you're with these glasses on. It looks like that looks okay. And this looks like you're messed up. That looks like it's only not okay. It's so hard. This is okay. Pretty good. Nice and clean. I don't see much water. Seems good. Pretty good. Anything else? Good, good. Same thing. I don't see much water. This is a little, those out. Yeah, that doesn't look right. Okay, but it doesn't look right. So now we want those out. You know, right? Progress is being made. Good. Progress, frustration, good, bad.
I figured out like this geometry,
Hmm?
71%.
That's good enough.
This one,
Yeah. That's good enough. That's good enough. That's awesome. How's it coming?
I
Yeah, I see what you did. All right. Okie dokie, that's class for today. Unless you guys got any questions, you're free.
I do have one question. This is maybe my name's
Hate these glasses. Hate them. What's your question? Arrows. Click on it. See how it's not. Click on the image. Is it mouse? I don't know. I hate that thing.
Oh yeah, I got a question.
What?
What is the paint program?
Photo
Photoshop? What?
Photo P. P-E-N. PhotoP.com.
That was the first time I've heard of that in my entire life.
Wonderful.
I've never heard of it.
It's wonderful.
It needs to make like Illustrator P or something like that.
Not gonna happen, I don't think.